We have found that in certain cases, parents turn very emotive, and it is a psychological response. When the department looks into it, they find that there is no, substance in the complaint. But meanwhile, the reputation of the school takes a hit. So, is there a mechanism where the school can be compensated on that, or is there a mechanism to make parents also responsible, not to damage the reputation of a school needlessly? Is there a mechanism for that?
As you know that, as a very seasoned journalist, you know that how government functions. They create an institution but without any infrastructure. As it happens in case of building houses, you first build houses, then you look for infrastructure. This is the same thing here. Because if you say in terms of providing, no, bare minimal, nothing, bare minimal.
So now I come to the point of grievances. There are people who come to your office and they have grievances, complaints against schools. You take cognizance of it. We have seen in previous years that many complaints, even they went into the media also, naming the schools. We have found that in certain cases, parents turn very emotive, and it is a psychological response. When the department looks into it, they find that there is no, substance in the complaint. But meanwhile, the reputation of the school takes a hit. So, is there a mechanism where the school can be compensated on that, or is there a mechanism to make parents also responsible, not to damage the reputation of a school needlessly? Is there a mechanism?
Let me tell you one thing. Firstly, the only person who is affected are the parents, but they are never before the committee. It's most unfortunate that they are not they don't participate in these debates. They don't raise any issue with respect to the school. They are, I must say, using this very harsh word, they are complicit with the schools. Therefore, in absence of parents coming before us, it is very difficult to find out what is right and wrong. Now, when you are talking about some parents, see what has happened really, because parents don't come. There are some activists also who are involved genuinely, or some are not genuinely, but they try to raise, but they don't have any personal interest. Because the only voice we find is about these activists who say, this is what has happened, and we get a clue. I have never seen. Yes, there are during my 4-5 months stay here, not more than 100 parents must have come to me. There are 150 parents must have come.
Why do you think, what is the reason for this? Parents have a stake, their children are in these schools. Why aren't they coming?
I don't know.
Why can't they, let's say there's a case that I as a parent create a problem for the school needlessly. But why don't others also come forward and say that this is not right?
Nobody comes. The problem is, that is why if you see somewhere that schools are having their own way, it is because parents are silent. So they are complicit in this whole process.
If I can share a case with you without naming the institution, we have an institution here that some people raised, a kind of hue and cry against that school, leveling different charges. But then recently, one of the apex government department did the investigations, and then they found that all the allegations were absolutely wrong, and the school is perfectly all right. There's nothing wrong with the school. But over these 2 years, the school took a hit. And it is a community school. It's not owned by anyone. So should government, as somebody who knows law, who has practiced law, been into it, should there be a legal provision to take such elements to task who damage the reputation of community schools?
Just a minute. It's an era of social media. Social media is what? I say to you one thing, you convey to third person. By the time it reaches the media, the whole version gets changed, and there is no there's no foundation, and there is no accountability also. So it is for the government to see that what is being said in the media, the person has to be accountable. If he is alleging something, he has to be accountable. It is not that he should not say, he should say, he should raise the issue, yes. But he cannot
craft lies.
He cannot say something which is not there. Bald allegations affecting the reputation of a person. Even FFRC also has been at times been told that many allegations are leveled against them without any basis. We have already addressed to the government, you must take cognizance of these things. It is not that you should stop this process, but if there are allegations leveled against a person, against an institution, against any person for that matter, the person who says must be accountable. He must tell this is what is my fact.
So if I could understand it very well, because this is a very important issue here, everybody has this right to raise his voice, against any school, wherever he finds a fault, but it must be done responsibly. And if it's not done responsibly and it damages the education of the children, government must find some kind of a mechanism where they are held responsible.
The legal process is available. You can file a defamation suit against, you can file a criminal defamation against him. So the law provides already there, but people don't do that.
So that's unfortunate that they do not do that. So in this overall regulatory framework and its implementation, how scientific do you find it?
Scientific means what?
Scientific in terms of how efficient it is, the structures that are available with you in terms of your staff, in terms of your access to the schools, in terms of the data that is with you, in terms of the analysis of the data. How far is this department very robust?
See, firstly, you can't perfect a perfection.
Yeah.
So second thing is, when you talk about staff, I told you, I have a very skeleton staff here, who job is to analyze the files, prepare a note, give it to the chairman. They are the one who have to accompany the chairman if you visit schools. See, as you know that, as a very seasoned journalist, you know that how government functions. They create an institution but without any infrastructure. As it happens in case of building houses, you first build houses, then you look for infrastructure.
Right.
This is the same thing here. But if you say in terms of providing, bare minimal, nothing, bare minimal.
So on this,
it's all the more difficult to function efficiently.
Right. So you know it very well that now in this time, even the Supreme Court has gone online. We can now witness what is happening inside, which was unimaginable some years back. Now the proceedings are also in an online manner. Would you impress upon the government, the concerned authorities, that equip this department as soon as possible with the technological support that allows us to deal with the cases online, so that this department and its people don't suffer, and also the schools that are actually delivering the education, they also are not needlessly asked to come to the office and along with the files, we can deal with it. We have an online mechanism.
Well,
so is that a need of the hour?
It is the need of the hour. But the question is when to start, how to start,
right,
and who starts it. Even if we write, you know that how government has its own
so the process is always slow.
But we are trying to do it in our own. See, one thing I must tell you that I'm here for the last 5 months. We are almost trying to solve as many as cases. Many cases we have already decided, and we are doing it at a very fast pace, because the difficulty is that these fees structure has to be approved by a committee. We have 4 other members. Their availability has to be there. They can't be expected to come every day to this office. So we have to fix a day in a month, or twice. It takes place twice in a month. So there are difficulties. There are practical difficulties are there. But we are trying to work out as soon as. Now the other problem is that this is one aspect. Second aspect is there are many schools who are not before us. I say many people say there are 6,000 schools, there are 7,000 schools, but where are those schools? We don't know. According to the Director of Education's list, the data that there are more than 6,000 schools throughout J&K. But before us, not more than 2,000 schools have come for.
There is a huge gap.
Nobody. See, there are some rogue schools also. I would not name the schools. We have recommended for their derecognition. You should notice to them, they are located in the city.
They don't respond.
They don't come. They don't bother to come. They don't bother to come.
So that's something that
the question is, see,
action must follow.
The problem is that, see, the impression with the schools that the committee is somehow it's functioning like a monster. It's not the case.
It's not the case.
The problem lies somewhere else. Nobody wants accountability. That's the big problem.
So the problem here is that one, the entire education system, we cannot reduce it to just the fee point. There are other things also.
Other things.
Fee point is actually corresponding to what you give to the children in the school, one, and the department is very conscious of that. But the schools need to be transparent and forthcoming.
Not only forthcoming. See, for instance, this is the most serious of which nobody addresses. Whether teachers are qualified to impart education. There are qualified teachers here. It's not that there are qualified people. The problem is what you pay them.
Yeah, I was just about to take this point, because that is the most crucial point here.